Dragon Ball GT, one of the many installments in the Dragon Ball franchise that came after Dragon Ball Z. And, well, people didn't really like it, and because of that, it didn't really get that much of a positive reputation compared to its predecessor. Most likely due to the fact that the first arc alone isn't what Z built a reputation of the franchise as. That being big explosions, lots of fighting, and men screaming at the top of their lungs. But due to this, and due to the fact that GT was more comedic based, especially in its first arc, and people didn't really like that, people tend to downplay the power of the Dragon Ball GT timeline, especially compared to the timelines such as the Dragon Ball Super timeline. But in this video, I'll be giving you reasons why the characters in the Dragon Ball GT timeline, specifically Goku in this video, is a lot stronger than you might initially have thought. In episode 16 of Dragon Ball GT, during the Black Star Dragon Ball saga, Goku was able to fight and was able to push a character named General Rildo. Goku and Rildo started out to throw a bunch of random attacks at each other during the beginning of their fight. Goku started off fighting Rildo in his base form, which is insane in its own right. Because Goku claimed that Rildo's ki and level of strength is greater in comparison to Buu, which this statement from Goku is pretty reliable considering that Goku fought Buu on multiple occasions and in multiple different forms. People usually downplay the statement, say that Rildo is on par with Fat Buu. Fat Buu being able to take out characters that are considered to be on, Super Perfect Cell's level. Super Perfect Cell is considered a solar system buster by guidebooks and the Dragon Ball Z Kai website. But the reason this is considered a low ball for me is because Goku, seconds before he stated that Rildo was above Buu, he stated that his ki is like the biggest ki, he's ever encountered up to that point. As I stated, Goku was shown fighting most, if not all, of Buu's forms, implying Rildo might as well be stronger than Kid Buu, who's vastly more powerful in comparison to Fat Buu, and was shown going around destroying galaxies over time. Remember, Goku started to fight Rildo in his base form, so that's just like insane to think about. In episode 31 of GT during the Baby Saga, when Goku was to space, and when he became unstable, he destroyed it with a single Kamehameha. Now, the space itself doesn't have a confirmed size from what I've researched, and all we know is that the space is its own space-time continuum. And depending on how you want to argue that, you can argue this is a universal feat in its own. Now, what I mean by when I said on how you want to argue that, you could say that because it's its own space-time, it doesn't necessarily mean it's a universal feat unless the space-time was stated to be a universal sized realm. In a conversation between GT, Vegeta, Trunks, and Goten, it is implied that Gohan, in between the Buu Saga and GT, has been training. For reference to his level of strength in the Buu Saga, he was shown beating the ass of Super Buu, and Gohan is considered to be the strongest unfused character in the Buu Saga. Super Buu was shown to scream so loud that he broke through a dimensional barrier and created a portal in between Earth and the Room of Spirit of Time. And Ultima Gohan's power is considered so high in the series that it gave Buu, who absorbed Gotenks and Piccolo at the time, enough power that he was going to destroy the living universe, which is also supported by the scan I have on screen. The reason this is important for GT Goku's scaling is that in the Buu Saga, in base, mind you, he fought Super Saiyan Gohan alongside Super Saiyan Goten. When Goku was in Hell fighting Frieza and Super Cell, during the 43rd episode of Dragon Ball GT, which is during like the Super 17 arc. He shook Hell in his base form just by powering up and wanting to show off his power, especially in comparison to Cell and Frieza. And it got to the point where like it shook so violently that King Yama felt it. After Goku did that, he basically just laughed it off, saying he overdid it on accident. When it comes to the size of Hell, going off of some guidebooks, it is considered to be larger than Heaven, Heaven being the same size as the mortal realm, which is already infinite in size. During the same arc, when Goku was fighting Super 17, and after what seems like after a few Zenkai boosts and with a bit of help, he punched the massive hole in Super 17's chest with a dragon fist. Mind you, there are some statements saying that the androids that make up Super 17 can possibly fuse Hell and the living world together, and they also made like a portal in between those two realms, basically just like by powering up. Goku's even more insane in the last arc of GT, that being in the Shadows Dragon arc. Omega Shenron stated that he could waste to the entire universe with his minus energy, which this level of strength isn't that unrealistic, considering that Omega Shenron is probably one of the strongest villains and maybe one of the strongest characters in the GT timeline up to that point. And considering what everything I've mentioned in this video about Goku alone, it's not that unrealistic. And Omega Shenron should be at least comparable, if not stronger, than the Black Smoke Dragon, who is strong enough that a Toei website stated that he can destroy the entire universe. If it's just the mortal universe or the entire macrocosm, it's up to you as the viewer. I'm just here presenting the statements, feats, and so on. He also has the attack called the Negative Karma Ball, or the Minus Energy Ball, as it's called sometimes, which is an attack that, Mega Shenron basically uses pretty much most of his strength to use. It's one of his strongest attacks, really. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because Goku, in base form, most likely getting a few Zenkais beforehand, was able to push the minus ball back and was able to somewhat keep up with it in general, which is insane to think about. So that, everyone, is why I personally think that Dragon Ball GT Goku is a lot stronger than you might think. TLDR, he's at least several times into Universal, and at most like Universal Plus.